Hey everybody, happy, what day is it? Wednesday? I don't even know. All the days are running together. And welcome back to the stream. I hope everybody is having a great hump day. Are we still doing hump day? Is that even still a thing? I don't know. It's all over the place for Miss Isabel. If you guys have been following the saga that is my apartment journey, a win is a win. We had some wins in the last couple of days, so that is good. I got some of my money back because it's been a bit of an uninhabitable environment in the last several weeks. And bonus, because also beyond the win is a win on the apartment, if you guys didn't already watch today's episode of People of the Internet, which is my daily live call-in show with Dave Rubin, it goes live at 1 p.m. Eastern on the Rubin Report channels all over the freaking place, mostly on Rumble. Our amazing friend of the stream, Alex Padron, who is like a daily viewer of the stream. He has been a #1 fan from the very beginning, since we were only streaming like once a week on Getter, was our live caller today and brought his new baby corgi to the stream. I am taking full credit for influencing Alex to get a corgi, and I took a screenshot. Sorry, I didn't have it preloaded, so we'll make it small here so you guys can see. This is me and Alex with our corgis today on People of the Internet. His brand new little corgi puppy's name is Jorge. He's the cutest little corg I've ever seen. He's in the potato with legs stage. And this right here is my corgi. This is Liberty. She is 3, almost 4 in March, which is really sad that she's getting so old. It's time to get another one. They're not possible to just keep in isolation. I'm learning, like, diehard corgi people have informed me that you cannot just get one corgi, you have to get it a corgi. So it's a whole thing. We'll be in the process of that after my honeymoon later this year. But does this not just make your day? No matter how bad or weird of a day you were having, seeing 2 corgis taking over the internet, the corgis of the internet, side by side, should just make your day a little bit brighter and better. If you guys are new to the stream, because we have a lot of new people lately, hi, you probably clicked on this and you're like, who the heck is this woman obsessed with corgis? My name is Isabel Brown. I am an independent content creator and live streamer, and every single day at 3 p.m. Eastern we go live across platforms to talk about the biggest news of the day from a Gen Z perspective. We talk about trending things in entertainment, in politics, in culture, in religion, and everything in between. We spent a lot of time talking about food lately, and I've got some fun food content coming to you guys later this month. Lots of good stuff. Today we are zooming in on Hollywood, though, and specifically the entertainment industry, because there's a big splash going around social media again for the zillionth time ever about, you guessed it, Lil Nas X back on the Satanic train, or maybe not, according to what the world thought. So we're gonna have some fun unpacking that story today on the stream. But like always, this is a true live stream. This is not a pre-recorded video, and we want your guys' participation in the live chat as much as humanly possible, because we want to know what you think, where you are, who you are, how long you've been watching, all of your hot takes, and more. So no matter where you're watching, on YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, Getter, Locals, or Instagram, make sure to introduce yourself to us in the chat and give us your opinions throughout the conversation today. As we're getting started, do me a huge favor and like this stream wherever you are watching. That might look like a little thumbs up, or it could look like a little heart button, depending on where you are watching. And most importantly, smash that follow or subscribe button for me for just a second. It takes literally a millisecond. We are totally independent on all of these channels, meaning we are not bought out by a multi-zillion-dollar media company telling us what to say. I'm just a 26, almost 27-year-old girl sitting in the spare bedroom of her apartment, ranting and raving about the latest happenings of the day. So every single time you guys hit follow or subscribe, you help to grow our community and have these really important cultural conversations that our generation and the world needs to be having more every day. Aaron on YouTube, thank you so much for your super chat donation. He says, corgis make the day 37% better on average. I am a scientist, and I would have to concur. That is scientifically accurate information. Let's pick a few random people to say hi to in our chat as we're getting started. Over on Rumble, we've got Morgan's watching in Alaska, I believe. You said yesterday, so that's very exciting. Sonic is here. We've got Gank watching on Rumble. Over on YouTube, Franklin is here. Los Ravosa is watching in Eastern Europe. So very fun. Jonathan says hello. Hello to you, Jonathan. Nitty Witty's kicking us off on Getter in our chat. Over on Locals, we've got Alex, Sabina. Alex, I will send you the picture of you and your corgi, I promise. Magic Def and more. And Instagram, you guys are popping off. Good to see you guys. Paul is watching. Lauren is watching from Liberty University. You will like the stream today, Lauren, because we are talking about your university today. Alex is watching in the UK. We've got people watching in Qatar, in Brazil, in Colombia. Anna from North Idaho. I grew up for a few years in Coeur d'Alene, so that's very fun. London, Massachusetts, all over the freaking world. Love to see you guys and glad you are here. Okay, let's jump right in because this is an important conversation and it's a very new topic that is just now making the rounds on social media today. I don't know if you guys have been following the saga over the last several months / years that has been Hollywood being openly satanic, and I don't use that word lightly. I use that word very seriously. You guys know I'm really serious about my faith. I'm really open about my faith. We talk about faith-related issues all the time on all of the channels on which we are live right now. So it shouldn't be a shock. I'm wearing a cross necklace. I do every single day. I'm very, very open about my Christianity. And so it bothers me, to be honest with you, from the secular political world when people often overuse or misuse the words demonic or satanic or anti-Christian or whatever, because lately I feel like it's just become fashionable in whatever way, shape, or form for secular political conservative movements to just point the finger at anything they don't like and call it demonic or call it satanic when it's really not. It's just something that you fundamentally disagree with, because I think that's really the same energy. It's giving the same energy as when you call someone a racist or you call someone a white supremacist or you call someone a sexist or a misogynist or any of the isms that are out there when they aren't actually that thing. It cheapens the value of what that word means. I think we've all gotten a crash course history lesson in the last several months since October on what has happened when we've overused the word Nazi several times in the last several decades in every single circumstance imaginable. When that's actually happening, you can't recognize when it's happening right in front of your face. And I think the exact same thing can be said for secular political conservative movements, worldly political movements, calling anything that they don't like satanic or demonic. It cheapens the value of what those words mean, and they should not be thrown around the same way that the left often loves to throw around words like sexist or transphobic or white supremacist or even Nazi. Fun fact, one of my most common nicknames in college was Hitler Youth Barbie, so that was a really fun one to try to explain to the parents on what was going on my college campus. Wrote about that at length in my first self-published book. So when I say that Hollywood has not been a stranger or not been quiet in the last several years about being openly satanic or openly demonic, I'm not saying that lightly. I'm not saying that to be silly. I'm not saying that to just throw those words around. I'm saying that because they've said the quiet part out loud many, 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 many times for us in the last several years. And we're going to go through example after example of what that looks like today on the stream and go on a little trip down memory lane with some of the very specific examples that I am talking about. But today it is trending all over the internet again that Lil Nas X is making fun of Christianity. Again, not new to Hollywood, not new to the music industry, and certainly not new to this particular musician. If you're living under a complete rock and you're totally unaware of Lil Nas X and who he is, he's a rapper, singer, songwriter. I guarantee you know the tune to some of his songs at the very least because they're wildly, unbelievably popular. But he came out with an announcement for a new single that's going to be dropped here in the next couple of weeks, I think. I don't actually know the date that the new single is going to be dropped. And a music video and some cover art associated with that music video that kind of broke the internet a few days ago. So the name of the song is written like J Christ, but I think in the song he's pronouncing it J Christ, so like Jesus Christ basically. And it's kind of like a parody on gospel music. We'll watch the trailer teaser for the music video of the J Christ song here in a second. But mostly what people are very, very upset about is the cover art for this new single that's soon to be dropped Reminder, not new to Lil Nas X. This is the same individual who gave Satan a lap dance in a different video and released Satanic shoes with Nike. So it's not new, but people are really upset about it. Instagram, if you can't see, let me know. I know things get automatically cropped, so we'll have to move things around for you. But this is the image in question. In case it's not abundantly obvious, this is, I'll scoot it over for you guys, Instagram. Lil Nas X being crucified on a cross, and people like lifting the cross up for the rest of the world to see. Obviously, people who are very open about their faith and people who are very fundamentally Christian are frustrated with this cover art because it feels like it's making a mockery of the holiest moment of Christianity, and that is Jesus Christ laying down his life for our sins, the salvation of the world, the entire point of our faith, kind of being made fun of in this image by putting yourself on the cross when Jesus died for you and your sins, right? So immediate reactions to this image, dying to know. Chat, drop it in the chat because I gotta know. Is this something that bothers you? Does it make you feel, I don't really like it? Men Reese says blasphemy at best. This is really sad. Tori says that's definitely frustrating. JMS says unbelievable. Ray says, look, I'm a fan of Lil Nas. I'm not going to lie. You know what? That's fair. That's what we do these streams for. You can have a difference of opinion. That is nothing to be ashamed of on this stream. Mary says this is blasphemy. Ink says sickening. Emrock says disgusting. Alex says blasphemy. It's not great, I'm going to be honest with you. And frankly, I think it's wildly disgusting in my own personal opinion when it comes to all of these things. I think it's really disgusting. Amy V says disgusting. Jonathan says it's wrong. So like many of you, I share these opinions that this is something that is gross and ew and have no taste whatsoever when it comes to respecting people's worldviews and ways of life. It's wildly disrespectful and would literally never, ever, ever be allowed to happen if it was about someone else's religion. But since it's about Christianity, it's 100% allowed and encouraged and cheered on by society. So this gets dropped. This announcement for this song gets dropped a few days ago. It's not this image of the cover image of the song and the new single being dropped in isolation that's really bothering people. There's also a teaser for the music video where it's like almost making fun of gospel music. And maybe I'm reading way too much into it. You guys will have to let me know what you think because I don't know really what to make of all of this. So let's check out this particular teaser. It's an interesting one, to say the least. So, at first glance, it's not terrible, per se. It's people walking towards heaven, presumably. That's how I'm interpreting this. It's like people in all white clothing, mostly white robes, walking up this bridge through this grassy field to the cloudy, pearly gates. I'll turn the music off so we can just talk through it. And they're all smiling, and they're all going one by one, and they're all going towards salvation, it looks like. Everybody's really happy. Everybody's happy to be there. Wow, people are in awe. And then you get to the top, and here's what he says. I'm in my prime. And then help me decipher this last part. Hang on, we'll re-listen to it. Is he saying, bitch, I'm in like J. Christ? I genuinely cannot make that out. I have no idea what he's actually saying. So if you guys could hear better than me, I would very much appreciate it. I don't understand what it means. So at first glance, like the video teaser isn't officially terrible. Okay, you guys are saying it's biatch. I'm built like J. Christ. Okay, so that's not great. That's actually not fantastic, but that's okay. That coupled with the cover art is really bothering people, and frankly, rightfully so. Like, this image should be bothering you. It shouldn't sit well with you, at the very least. But then the story takes a really interesting turn. So he gets completely blown up on social media about this. Christians are very outspoken that they are angry that this crucifixion image of Lil Nas X gets shared to the internet, and the teaser for this music video goes out there. Let's read what one news outlet had to say about it. Yahoo News says, Christians crucify Lil Nas X over Jesus Christ promo, but the clapbacks are giving us life. Well, we didn't crucify Lil Nas X. He crucified himself in this image. Like, that's okay. Interesting language choice, Yahoo News. This is the Yahoo News Pride section, so just be aware of all of that as we read this article. They say Lil Nas X continues to be the absolute king of trolling after going full crucifixion with the cover artwork for his upcoming single. The Old Town Road artist has been teasing his first new music in 2 years as he allegedly enters his gospel era, retweeting fake quotes from celebrities hyped for his next album, and even suggesting an upcoming collab with Kesha by both holding cardboard signs on different streets and making sure the pictures wound up circulating online. But the outrage machine, I've never once really seen the Christian community in America be referred to as the outrage machine. I think it's really fair to say that the opposite would probably be true. If anything, Christians have put up with a whole lot of absolute nonsense and complete erasure of their values and beliefs in society because they've been too polite to people over the last several decades instead of fighting for your values and the things that you believe in. But okay, Yahoo News calls the Christian community in America the outrage machine. The outrage machine cranked up when he declared his next single will be, quote, dedicated to the man who had the greatest comeback of all time, and shared an artistic image of 5 people hauling him upright on a cross. Just in case the Jesus imagery wasn't immaculately clear, the song itself, scheduled for release at midnight on January 12th, okay, I was right, it's coming out in a few days, appears to be called J. Christ. And here's the image that he posted on Instagram. Like, he put this out himself. Let's just be totally honest. Presumably, the exact same people who got angry about Lil Nas X's Satan shoes and his pole dancing down to hell to give Satan himself a lap dance are the same ones furious about him now taking on the iconography of their Messiah. Well, yeah, like, thank you. Water is wet. The sky is blue. Like, obviously, if this is your religion, you should be angry about Hollywood celebrating a music video, giving Satan a lap dance, and you should be angry about taking on the iconography of God himself in a parody that's celebrated by our culture. Like, could you imagine how any other religion would respond to this? Could you imagine if this were geared towards the Muslim community? Could you imagine if this were geared towards the Satanic temple that we seem to be normalizing every single day? If we were making fun of them and not the other way around, like, the outrage would be unstoppable. So why is it all of a sudden this, like, fury that the world has never seen, that Christians are rightfully angry that a rapper is taking on the iconography of Christ himself, of the Messiah, of the Savior of the universe, by crucifying himself on a cross? The double standard just genuinely makes me want to vomit. I said, though, I promised to you that it was going to take a really interesting turn, that this story was going to get real interesting real fast. So, as promised, it did. Literally today, I think this was today, oh, it was late last night. Late last night, he decides to take the story one step further, and Lil Nas X makes an announcement that he's basically renouncing all of his affinity with Satan and demonic imagery and demonic culture, and now wants to lean into Christianity and embrace Christianity, and tells the world he's been accepted to study at Liberty University. If you don't know anything about Liberty University, if you're watching from abroad especially, Liberty is like one of the only actually conservative Christian colleges left in America. I've been on their campus. It's awesome. I know we have several students from Liberty watching right now because you said in the chat, which is very, very fun. Says that he's been accepted by Liberty University to study a program of biblical studies, and posts an acceptance letter of his biblical studies college acceptance to his Twitter account. And he says, not everything is a troll. So here's this letter that he posts to Twitter. He says, I know Twitter hates me right now, 21 hours ago, but I want y'all to know that I'm literally about to go to college for biblical studies in the fall. Not everything is a troll. Anyways, I'm a student again. Let's go. And he posts this with like no context out into the Twitter sphere. Looks like a very official, formal college acceptance letter on social media. Everybody assumes that this is real. Why would you assume that it's not real? It says, congratulations, you've been officially accepted to Liberty University for the fall 2024 semester with a dual concentration in Christian leadership and biblical studies. As we seek to build a campus community exemplifying strong academic achievement and an unwavering commitment to the Christian faith, our admissions committee is dedicated to selecting students of the highest caliber. We believe you are one of these students, and we are confident that you will be an outstanding addition to our student body. This sounds so real, right? It sounds 100% real. This sounds like a normal college acceptance letter. So obviously everybody believes it. At Liberty, we specialize in preparing students to succeed, not just as professionals in the workplace, but as citizens who glorify God in their calling and communities. During your time at Liberty, you will be mentored by faculty who bring real-world experiences to the classroom and take a personal interest in the success of their students. We're committed to investing in the lives of our students and helping them realize their God-given potential. The entire Liberty family congratulates you. Now is your time to train as a champion for Christ. Sincerely, Jerry Falwell. So now everybody goes, okay, hang on a second. If you actually know anything about Liberty, Jerry Falwell is no longer the president of Liberty University. That was a big, big story that hit mainstream news in the last several years, but it looks like his signature, it looks like his name. So the story takes another interesting turn. Jerry Falwell himself responds on Twitter and says, this is the real Jerry Falwell, president of Liberty University from 2007 to 2020, and that is my signature. I know this is a joke. So, spoiler, Lil Nas X is not going to Liberty University, was never accepted to study at Liberty University, not at all remotely a thing that ever came to fruition, but I wouldn't have hesitated to sign that letter for you to enroll, Jerry said. Don't believe all of the lies that have been told the last 3 years. No judgment at LU, Liberty University. Only grace. So it was a troll the whole time. Like, he starts telling people, I'm going to Christian college to study biblical studies because I know you're all mad at me for being such an openly satanic, demonic person in Hollywood. But actually, I'm not going to college now because everything is fake. Everything is fake. Like, everything is a troll. And as he said that, he posted on his Twitter, not everything is a troll. Like, I'm so genuinely confused. This is proof in a million examples. This is like 1,000,000th example that everything is fake. Like, everything is a simulation, which again is a really dangerous place for us to be in. We talk about this all the time from the lens of artificial intelligence. Oh, here we go. My fiance is texting me about all of the... Okay, yeah, I was right. I said that. He was lagging a little bit on what we were talking about for the lyrics. Sorry about that, guys. This is proof to the zillionth degree, and we talk about this all the time from the lens of artificial intelligence and AI, but if you can't trust what you're seeing, if everything looks legitimate, if everything looks verified as a legitimate fact, how do you have any idea what is actually true and what is actually not true? And that's not to say people shouldn't have the freedom to troll you on the internet. Trolling on the internet can often be very fun and entertaining and can be a form of the freedom of expression that we often take for granted here in our free country that we continue to live in. But isn't it just really odd and bizarre that that's the level of trolling that this person has decided to take an interest in? And there are a lot of other examples from this week alone in promoting this new Jesus Christ single that's coming out from Lil Nas X, including making an open mockery of the Eucharist or communion, whether you look at communion as the legitimate representation of Jesus Christ on earth, whether you believe the Eucharist is literally the embodiment of Jesus Christ's body and blood, or you view communion as a symbol, this probably should bother you. This was a video he ended up putting out on TikTok. I'm going to mute it because it is super loud. Putting out on TikTok about promoting this new song, Jesus Christ. He's taking communion and like making fun of taking communion by just eating heaps and heaps and heaps of communion wafers and taking little shooters of the blood of Christ. So that should bother you in the very least. Again, I ask, and I will keep asking over and over and over again, what if this video was making an open mockery of Islam? What if this video was making an open mockery of Buddhism or Hinduism or even the Satanic Temple, which we've completely normalized as a legitimate religious organization in the United States of America today? There would be outrage, massive outrage, but because it's making fun of Christianity and even more specifically Catholicism, it's totally okay. It's completely kosher. It's something that we cheer on and celebrate and laugh at and repost all over the internet. So no, breaking news, Lil Nas X is not going to attend Liberty University, despite what the mainstream media is saying. I think it's hilarious that like Billboard is reporting on the accuracy. Lil Nas X shares acceptance to biblical studies program. Like, newsflash, keep up, meme culture, troll culture. This is not actually verified information. But then again, we're all just confused. Everyone is confused because the last several years have meant nothing but an undying stream of mocking Catholicism and mocking other denominations of Christianity openly from inside of Hollywood out. So I thought it would be interesting on the stream this afternoon to take a little trip down memory lane to talk about all of the examples of what this has looked like literally just in the last few months and years. This is not through all of history. This is not through all of time, but like unfolding before our very eyes. This is what the entertainment industry seems to be trying to tell us. I don't think this is me reading too much into this. I don't think this is me playing the tinfoil hat game or like trying to spin a story out of nothing into the conspiracy theory realm. I genuinely am just going to react to the images that they themselves are putting out, or the costumes or the music videos that they themselves are putting out. And let's just see what kind of narrative Hollywood seems to be trying to tell us, just from a totally unbiased third-party perspective, okay? So we've seen this image of Lil Nas X on the cross crucifying himself for his new single, but that's not even new for Lil Nas X. That's not new information. How about this one? This was his music video that went hugely viral in the last couple of years, where he danced on a pole. He pole danced down to hell itself with the sole intention of giving Satan a lap dance in some sort of weird BDSM kinky sex thing. Don't really love that. And this is the image that has very much sparked outrage on the internet over the last several years. He released a Satanic shoe collaboration with Nike that came under massive fire. They removed them from the market for a while. I remember they took them off the market because Nike was so frustrated with the backlash for all of this. Chat, do you guys know if they ever released these shoes back onto the market? I'm pretty sure it was announced that they were going to go out, and then almost instantaneously they took them off the market because everybody was so angry about it. You guys might remember better, chat. I don't know. I know there's a little bit of a lag, so I'll wait. I don't remember. You guys might remember better than me. I love this comment, by the way. I'm going to come back to this. But as a Muslim, this literally makes me so mad. Of all the people he mocks, it's Jesus. This genuinely disgusts me. Yeah, we're going to come back to that and the grand scheme of things at the end of the conversation. I don't know if you guys remember either, but I'm pretty sure they took these shoes off the market and then maybe put them back on. But they definitely had to take them off because they were getting so much backlash from their consumer base about these shoes. It had like real blood in them, if I remember correctly. Don't quote me on this, but it was like super creepy. Like there was actual blood in these shoes. It has like the pentagram situation. It was so weird. Yeah, thank you guys. You remember the real blood. I'm not making this up. This was like a very, very real thing. So that's just Lil Nas X. But again, in the last several months and the last several years, there have been countless other examples. Need we remember this situation? Instagram, I will move this for you in a second because I know you guys can't see, but these are side-by-side images of Megan Fox's Halloween costume several years ago. This was right when I had started live streaming, and I will never forget, like we were like 2 weeks into live streaming and we were going once a week maybe. It wasn't very common for us to be live streaming. And we did a whole stream about this because it was so disgusting when it first came out. She's dressed up as a slutty nun, but there's like nothing about a nun's habit in any of the clothes that she's wearing. She's just basically naked, and they're doing this like priest nun communion thing that is so wildly disgusting and uncomfortable. I'll move this over for you, Instagram, so that you guys can have a chance to see this because it's just really weird. She's like on her knees sexually trying to take communion from the slutty nun, slutty priest situation. And I just remember thinking at that time, that is so disgusting. Like, never in a million years would we ever culturally tolerate the exact same thing happening if we were making fun of the Muslim community, if we were making fun of the Jewish community, if we were making fun of the Hindu or the Buddhist community. Like, that is so disgusting and completely unacceptable in mocking somebody's faith. But it was this funny, viral, everybody sharing it, haha, this is incredible to behold Halloween costume at the time. This would have been late 2022, I think it was last Halloween of 2022. So absolute insanity with all of that. But oh no, there's more. Need we remember this lovely album cover from our friend Demi Lovato in bondage, like rope BDSM gear on a cross-shaped mattress, crucifying herself on her own album cover. This is Camp Rock and Sunny with a Chance's Demi Lovato. So good to know what Hollywood can do to your soul when you grow up being a child actor or a child actress in Hollywood. Obviously, she has much bigger problems as well with her soul and some other issues that she's been dealing with for the last several years. But like, if we've ever wanted concrete proof of what Hollywood has done to these child actresses, Demi Lovato started acting, correct me if I'm wrong, when she was like 4 or 5 years old on Barney, and has been in Hollywood ever since in every capacity possible. And this is what the end result of that is supposed to look like. Haha, but we're not done. How about Sam Smith's little performance? I believe this was at the Grammys a couple of years ago, just head to toe. He is Satan and everyone else is supposed to be demons in this weird stripper show unfolding before our very eyes. Lady Gaga dressed up as a naked nun in 2011 at a music awards. I'm pretty sure this was 2011. Don't quote me on that. But hello, would we ever tolerate making fun of any other religious organization by dressing like this with the nipple pasties and basically completely nude, making fun of nuns and religious sisters for any other religion ever? Would we ever tolerate this if it was about monks, Buddhist monks? Would we ever tolerate this if this were about imams and the clothes that they wear? No, never in a million years. But when it's a nun, it's completely okay. Completely kosher. We reacted to this music video on the stream and some other social media platforms several weeks ago, but this was Doja Cat's new music video where it was like demons haunting you in your sleep. If you want to retain any sense of just innocence and purity in your soul, please, for the love of all that is good, do not go watch this music video. It kept me up at night for like weeks. I genuinely could not sleep without thinking about this music video because the whole concept was like the demons under the bed or the demons in your room while you're sleeping, and the demon is like crawling on the ceiling and coming out from under your bed, and it haunted my dreams for weeks. Like, just don't watch it. Don't watch it, okay? But this is essentially what the entirety of this music video from Doja Cat looks like. She's dressed as a demon the whole time, and there's all these like weird exorcism situations going on in the background. So again, demons and the underworld. We've got naked, slutty nuns in public at music award ceremonies. We've got stripping Satan demons on stage at the Grammys, and that's just totally normal. That's totally fine. Nobody really even batted an eye when that happened. We've got bondage crucifixion on mattresses in some weird kinky sexual fetish thing from renowned childhood actresses on their album covers. We've got slutty nun priest communion time for Halloween and sexualizing the intimacy that we experience with Jesus through communion and the Eucharist, which is probably, I mean, I don't know. I'm no expert on the subject as a lifelong Catholic, but the worst possible thing that you could make fun of in the realm of someone's faith. It's the pinnacle and the essence of someone's faith. And we've got satanic shoes with real blood in them, giving Satan a lap dance, and now crucifying yourself on your own album cover. Looks like he was really inspired by Demi Lovato, by the way, so that's fascinating. I'd be very curious to see if they communicated about that at all, or she sues him for first use of that idea in the intellectual property world. And no one cares. Nobody says anything. It's just, oh yeah, that's a little avant-garde. That's a little out there, artistically speaking. It's a little edgy. But where are the people protesting this? Where are the people posting about it on social media saying, enough is enough? Where are the people saying, if this was about my religion, I'm not Christian, but if this was about my religion, that would be completely unacceptable and we would be rioting in the streets? Apparently, it's always okay in a free country that was founded on Christian principles to only make fun of Christianity, to only make a mockery of the religion that was established by Jesus Christ himself, to only create slutty nun costumes and slutty priest costumes. But we would never do that for hijabs and burqas. We would never do that for imams. We would never do that for monks of the Hindu or Buddhist nature. We would only do that for priests and nuns in the Christian and Catholic world. Why? I cannot begin to wrap my head around this from a logical perspective, except from the perspective of spiritual warfare. And so this is the conversation that I want to have with you guys, because I think we often talk about all of these things happening in the news, and it rarely, if ever, talk about this from the realm of the things that we can't see, from the realm of spiritual warfare. So in case you needed a reminder that wasn't incredibly obvious with all of these things playing out before your eyes today, spiritual warfare is 150% real, and it's happening at every single moment of every single day in the world that we live in, even if you can't see it with your own two eyes. I've seen so many videos lately, and obviously my TikTok is trying to feed me videos about being engaged and getting married, but I've seen so many videos lately of people getting ready to get married, and maybe they're engaged, they just got married, saying how much spiritual warfare they had to battle when their spouse and them were getting ready to get married in the church, that there was so much anger and so much fighting, and they couldn't explain it, and nothing was working out in their life. And I totally 100% resonate with that. In the last several weeks, I've had to change my wedding venue. I'm getting moved out of my apartment at a time that I never expected that I was going to have to move, because it was flooding on the 19th floor. I've had all kinds of insane, random, weird things. I've always been sick. Like, I always have this cold that's constantly going on in my life. I'm finding myself really on edge and kind of getting angry all the time. And it hit me like a ton of bricks the other day. Well, like, duh. I'm sponsoring my fiance through RCIA right now. I'm praying more than I ever have been now. I'm working really hard on my live stream to draw more attention to my faith and talk more about my faith than I ever have before in all of my content. I'm getting ready to get married in the church through matrimony, which involves me, my future spouse, and God. So it's not just some legal piece of paper. Like, it totally clicked with me. It made sense. Oh, duh. Like, I'm very vulnerable to all of this spiritual warfare that's happening right now. And that doesn't make you a victim. That doesn't make you some sort of sad crybaby in the corner of like, oh no, Satan's trying to come after me. But I feel like we talk all the time about forces of evil going on in our world, and we talk all the time about these crazy images and these crazy music videos and these crazy references and nods to satanic and demonic behavior in entertainment and in Hollywood, but we very rarely talk about our own awareness that spiritual warfare is actually going on right before our very eyes, right? Nobody likes to remind you to like be aware, be prepared, be ready to combat these things even within your own soul, because I guess it makes us uncomfortable to talk about, or it makes us uneasy to realize that there is a spiritual realm that exists, coexists with the world we touch and see and experience every day. We just can't see or touch that realm more often than not on this side of heaven. It probably makes us feel really uneasy that like those forces are battling over our own souls right now, but they are, and we believe that. And if you happen to be a Christian yourself, you should know and believe that is happening behind the scenes, even if your pastor or your priest rarely actually talks about it or has never talked about it in your journey of faith. That's very, very real and very, very tangible. And I think in the last few years, we've kind of been given a gift. Like, when I see these images, it pisses me off. It makes me really royally angry to see stuff like this. Like, when I look at an image of a music video of a rapper giving Satan a lap dance, and children are loving and listening to this song and sharing this music video all over social media, this should piss you off. It should make you really angry. But I also am grateful for this image, shockingly. I'm really happy that stuff like this is going on, because it gives us an opportunity to see into the realm of that spiritual plane that we often don't get to touch and feel and see with every single blink of our eye. Even though it is happening before our eyes, we don't often get a window into what that looks like. So as much as images like this make me mad, make me angry, make me frustrated, I'm also really grateful that all of a sudden lately in culture, we've been given a window into those spiritual forces that are at work. It is all around us, and we forget about it 99% of the time, but we need to go on offense against it, not just defense when it comes knocking at our own door, and try to bring awareness to it wherever we have the capacity to. I'm seeing a ton of people come through in the chat on Instagram saying, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And I think that's a really powerful way of looking at this. I'm not angry at Lil Nas X or Demi Lovato or Megan Fox. Am I pissed at what they're doing? Yeah, I'm really angry about what they're doing. But prayer is a weapon, and prayer is an offensive weapon just as much as it is a defensive weapon that we rarely like to talk about. I think lately, and I've said this really frequently over the stream in the last several months, but I think lately our culture has started to view prayer as a last resort. Like, you only say, oh, I'll pray for you, or I'll pray for your family when somebody dies, or when somebody is experiencing cancer and going through chemo treatments, or if somebody was in a horrifying, debilitating car accident. That's when we go, oh no, I'll pray for you and I'll pray for your family. But we're instructed to pray when things are good, and we're instructed to pray when things are bad. We're instructed to pray for our enemies, to love our enemies, and pray for those who persecute us. We are instructed to use prayer as a weapon, because it is a powerful weapon. Whether you can see that with your own two eyes or not, this spiritual plane of spiritual warfare and demonic and satanic interference that is 100,000% real in our society today is wounded, is pained, is struggling against our prayers that we often forget to use as an offensive weapon and try to think of as a last resort. So whether that's for your own soul or the souls of these people in Hollywood that really desperately need our prayers, hit your knees and start praying, not when things are too late, not when things are a last resort, not when you feel like things are just going so terribly in your own life that you finally need to ask for God's protection and God's help, but offensively too, before anything ever happens to get that bad. So, in your guys' opinion, I'm dying to know what you think about all of this. Are you frustrated that this type of mockery and this type of making fun of Christianity is happening in Hollywood? Do you think this would ever be permitted or allowed culturally from the lens of any other religion? I think we're seeing a lot of it against Judaism right now, so I'd be really curious to get your guys' thoughts on that as well. But, like, could you ever picture a celebrity wearing a slutty burqa costume, or a celebrity making fun of a Buddhist monk for Halloween? I could never in a million years expect something like that to unfold in society, and I'm dying to know your guys' thoughts. So drop them in the chat, either right below or right off to the side, depending on where you guys are watching. Soldier says on Instagram, I don't like that people are mocking God. Yeah, absolutely. I totally would agree with that. On Locals, Sabina has an interesting point of view. All of this stuff is being shown, like we're getting the window into all of this spiritual warfare through images like this, but the pushback to it is being hidden culturally. Interesting. So Sabina, you think there are more people pushing back against this than we might be aware of, but people are just being silenced in some capacity? That is super interesting. Greg says the mockery has always been there. It's just very, very amplified today. Fascinating. That is really, really interesting. Timothée, I have seen the French documentary on me. That was several years ago. If you guys didn't know, I did a whole documentary with French and German public broadcasting during the 2020 election. Good stuff. That was very fun. Zora says, this is very similar to Islamic teaching as well. And from a Muslim perspective, Jesus is also a very important figure. We believe that he is a prophet in Islam. This makes me really, really mad. Thank you. And even though we have wildly different worldviews, I'm a Christian and you're a Muslim, that's very cool to me to see this type of comment. I wish more people would speak up about stuff like this to defend actual freedom of religion in our society today. Braden says, part of me doesn't like it, but like you said, it gives us a chance to see where we are morally and allows us to see what we need to do for more improvement. So even though I'm frustrated by it, I do feel a sense of gratitude and I do feel a sense of opportunity when I see images like this to start speaking out against it and to fight on offense against it. Nitty Witty says, because this is a plan to weaken church power, globalists have also infiltrated church leadership. Super interesting. So that's why you think people are being silenced in the pushback of it. Like people in positions of power should be speaking out about it, but they're not. Ooh, that is fascinating. God Plays Chess on Rumble says, you never know when one of these artists will find themselves in a different place years from now. As a former pagan now hanging with Jesus, sometimes it's a journey to admit to oneself that Jesus is real. 100%. I love that perspective. And truly, you never know what types of inner demons people are fighting. You obviously can see some outer things with certain people, but nobody is beyond redemption and nobody is beyond a relationship with God. That is absolutely 100% true. And I love that. Amy says on YouTube, we were warned in scripture that this would happen. I don't love it, but it is a sign that Jesus is coming back soon. Soon is obviously a very subjective word. We have no idea when that will be, if you believe that, but I think that's really, really fascinating. Beverly says, you are spot on that this is spiritual warfare. Satan's time is running out. Ooh. The real Lushan, I want to make sure I'm reading that right. Demons can only hide for so long. The devil comes to steal, kill, and destroy. They are just expanding the destruction. Ooh. That is powerful. Well, I'm glad to know, at the very least, from our conversation on today's stream, that I'm not alone. I'm not the only person feeling frustrated by all of this. I'm not the only person feeling like there's an objective double standard in society, that we are allowed to openly mock and create blasphemy around certain religions, but certainly not around others. And I think the more that we see exposure of this stuff, the more of an opportunity we have as people to bring it out of darkness and into the light and talk about it head on. There are so many people commenting on Instagram in isolation, for example, who are Muslim and very frustrated that this is happening. If you're watching this stream and you're not Christian, but you're like, yo, that's kind of effed up, like we shouldn't be doing that. We all have an opportunity, and I believe an obligation, to bring this from the darkness into the light and start fighting against it on offense. You do not have to be a content creator. You don't have to have a blue check mark or a zillion followers to have conversations that really, really matter in the grand scheme of things culturally in this world that we touch and interact with every day, but also on that spiritual plane that we've been talking about through today's stream. In fact, I kind of believe we all have a sense of obligation to use whatever platform we have to talk about this stuff in any way that we possibly can. And that might not look like a live stream on social media for you, or going on the news, or writing a book. That might look like grabbing coffee with a friend, or talking with your family around the dinner table when you all go back from college and get to hang out with your family again. That might look like reposting somebody else's video onto your story, or duetting somebody on TikTok, or retweeting them on Twitter. We all have a sphere of influence, whether we realize that or not. And I would actually go so far as to believe that your guys' sphere of influence, if you don't have a huge community of a zillion people following you or tuning into your live streams or whatever every day, is a lot more impactful, because the people in your life know you intimately. They go to church with you. They go to synagogue with you. They go to your mosque with you. They sit next to you in the school cafeteria. They live with you in your dorm room building. They go to class with you. You text them every single day. There's a sense of trust and rapport there that doesn't really exist for public figures with 99% of the people who happen to follow them. So when you guys draw attention to this, when you screenshot that crazy Instagram post from Lil Nas X and send it to your friends and say, yo, this is pretty effed up, like we shouldn't really be doing this, the friends friends that you have those conversations with have an opportunity to talk about the same stuff that you guys are talking with me about right now on this live stream. So my challenge for you in 2024, and hopefully a goal that you all should have in 2024, is to figure out what spheres of influence you happen to have in your own life, even if it's just talking to your immediate family or the classes that you happen to go to on your college campus or your roommate in your dorm room. And start figuring out how to appropriately fight culture on offense to create a better culture for the people who come after us in whatever sphere of influence you possibly have. It could be as simple as sharing this stream with somebody else or reposting a video onto your story. It could be becoming a content creator yourself. And I think the world has a huge shortage of important, good content creators. The world needs more. To shout out just one person, Alex Padron, you are the GOAT, the real MVP. Oh my gosh, our corgi light turned off. That's so sad. There we go. You are the real MVP and is actually thinking about starting his own live stream, working on all of that himself. And we've been talking about that on the stream and behind the scenes for the last several months. And I love hearing stories like that. So if any of you guys are thinking about becoming content creators yourselves, if you're thinking that you might want to do something like this, never hesitate to reach out. I always want to lend a helping hand to all of you. But my challenge and my homework for you is to be able to start figuring out where you can be used in this culture war. I say that very seriously, just like I used the words satanic and demonic very, very seriously. We are in the midst of a culture war. Figure out where you can start fighting on offense, the spheres of influence that you have and the difference that you can make in our culture to start fighting for truth and beauty and goodness again. That's your homework for the stream today. We're going to be back tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern for a very fun live stream. And I told you guys this yesterday, but just as a reminder, I have a very, very special surprise guest coming to the stream on Monday, which is a really big day in Iowa. And that's all I'm going to say about that for now. So make sure that you mark your calendars for Monday at 3 p.m. Eastern. We have a really exciting interview dropping for you guys then. If you guys are interested in joining a little bit more of a tight-knit community than where we host the stream every day and meet people who have similar values to yourself, we do a post-stream Q&A every single day on Locals, in our Locals community, and we're going to jump over there here in just a second. So I'm dropping the link to do that in our live chat. There's some exclusive content that's just over there for our Locals fam. You guys get to know each other. We're going to be doing some meetups and some special stuff related to my book through our Locals community this year, so we would love to see you over there. Before you go, do me a huge favor and like this stream if you haven't already. That could look like a thumbs up or a heart depending on where you're watching. And most importantly, smash that follow or subscribe button, and we would love to see you guys back for the stream tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. YouTube, Rumble, Facebook, Getter, Instagram. We'll see you tomorrow. Locals, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.